I believe we are live. Hello,
Hello.
hello, everybody. Hello, spooky hellos. So, as you can see, we are fully in our final girl spirit. I have a spooky background. Everybody's bloody. We're having a good time. Well, hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. This is the next episode of the Blades and Bodice Rippers Book Club. This time we read The Last Final Girl by Stephen Graham Jones, and we all read it. We can say that. How we felt about it, we will discuss. And by the way, I am trying to do a Sydney Prescott from Scream because she had a jean jacket, and I have a jean jacket. So that was my inspiration. Everyone else want to go around and say their inspirations?
Yeah. So I was doing Dana Polk from Cabin in the Woods, and hence this. It was also a fun opportunity to try my hand at doing special effects makeup. So I looked up a YouTube tutorial, and I think it turned out pretty good.
Looks pretty good.
Since I've never done it before, it was fun.
Yeah,
it looks good. I'm Grace Ladomas from Ready or Not. That's all I have to say about that.
I'm a take on like a Jamie Lee prom night, prom queen, scream queen, which I felt was appropriate for the final scene of this book. So
true.
Fair.
Very true.
Yeah.
So we all had thoughts about it. I don't
These
think
are such neutral statements that could apply to any time we've read a book. We've read it. We have thoughts. It exists.
You know, we're getting there. We're getting to the specificity. And I don't think this is going to be the book that we all like. I mean, I feel like
one
I'm
of those
neutral.
Since Southern Book Club.
We were hoping Halloween might be the...
You know what? I'm happy to have one of either one. Either we all hate it or we all loved it. Either one.
So that our job tonight is to convince everybody either to love it or to hate it. And whichever is the easier to do.
So I ended up giving it, I don't know, a lackadaisical 3 stars. Because I thought it was fine. But we will get into my critiques in it, but it's fine. The lackadaisical 3 stars.
Yeah. I gave it 2 stars. It was just okay for me, but I think also it's very different from the other 2 things I've read from Stephen Graham Jones, and I loved both of those books so much. Like the other, because I've read My Heart is a Chainsaw, which is very similar to this. I'm sure we'll get into that. And The Only Good Indians, both of which are like slow, character-driven literary horror, which I'm into. And this is very different. And I wasn't a huge fan. It was okay.
I gave it 1 star. I have nothing good to say about it.
I gave it 4 stars. I think, though, had I read this before My Heart is a Chainsaw, I probably would have given it 2.5 or 3 stars. I think for me, this was a more successful version of that project. And I I appreciated the execution of the project this time around in comparison to My Heart is a Chainsaw. If we're talking about like my pure enjoyment, it's probably closer to a 3. I think I'm giving it 4 for I think you did this project well.
Poor Evie. But Evie, you knew coming here tonight what you would get, so you brought this upon yourself.
She likes my candles. I like candles too. Thank you.
Yes, they look very nice, Amanda.
See, this is how I feel. Like, I like the concept.
That's exactly it.
I just preferred the execution in My Heart is a Chainsaw. But I do think you have, and Mara's the opposite. Yeah.
Oh, a 5. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Leanna, you hurt her feelings.
I'm sorry, Evie. You knew this already.
Which I don't think is actually normally true. I mean, it may be true on this book club, but in general, I wouldn't say that's true.
We're all just better at picking books Mara would like.
It's harder for me to love or hate something. Like, in that respect, I kind of envy Leanna. Like, she's a woman of just pure passion. For me, it's like most of what we're reading, I'm like, yeah, like that was a good version of what it was. Like, even if it's not my favorite, like, okay, but like I give very few 4.5 or 5 stars out every year, so it's
I
not
burn hot and cold.
yeah, it's not impossible to get a 4-star for me. It's harder to get a 4.5 or a 5. So.
Yay!
So I mean, wait, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, right? In terms of star ratings,
we do. Look at that!
Yeah.
Look at us.
So
We
do you
didn't
want
even
to
do it on
go like
purpose.
around and like say our?
I was gonna say like maybe okay, we can't all agree on something, but I think that's a successful kind of group project where we could represent every
All of the
possible
different
opinion.
sides.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I guess I'll start. We've just been going around in circles. I feel like it's been working. So, like that comment earlier, concept, awesome. I love it. It's very self-aware sarcasm, making fun of like horror movie tropes. It's kind of, you know, how Scream made fun of horror movie tropes. This one did it in a fully comedic manner.
Mm-hmm.
And I dug that. However, the format of the book does not help the book. Basically, he tried to write a very visual script for a movie because movies are very visual, but like that's not how books work. So in my opinion, I think the format did not help it. It could have been actually kind of fun if he just wrote the book instead of trying to write a screenplay as a book, personally. And also, I don't know about you guys, but everywhere I go, I've heard the song Billie Jean since I read this. And I don't know if it's like fate, but like I was in the Halloween store buying blood today and Billie Jean was playing. So yeah, 3 stars. I think the concept is cool. It had some good stuff, but not told in the right format.
Yeah. I think I wasn't a fan of the format either. I had a hard time getting into the way it was done. And I think the thing is too is like what I've loved from him in other books has been the character development and the like deep thematic like bigger thematic things he's tackling through his horror. And this is, I mean, it's a fun project and like it's a love letter to slashers, but it doesn't like I wanted so much more from the character development. Like I just didn't feel as connected to the characters. I didn't like the formatting, and I felt like this was mostly just about the slashers and didn't have like bigger, like deeper themes it was trying to tackle, as opposed to My Heart is a Chainsaw, which I think does. So I just prefer that as like a type of horror from him. So I think it's a lot of it's just like preference, what you're looking for, but this just kind of didn't work for me great.
Yeah.
Well, I felt like so much of it was
Go
literally
for
just
it.
like a laundry list of slasher references. And then because it's a screenplay format, there isn't even a story in between the references. It's just references. It was like a jukebox musical, except instead of songs, it was references. And I don't watch slashers, so I was like annoyed and confused. And there was nothing else for me to look at because it was just references and then jokes about those references. And then more references. I was just like,
yeah, that's
so
fair.
this isn't for me.
Yeah.
It's for fans of slasher movie. It's very much an homage to the genre.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's completely fair. So, Leanna, I want you, and Bethany, I'll be curious to hear your feeling about this since you've read My Heart is a Chainsaw.
Yeah.
Imagine this book, but with without the direct screenplay format, and in front of this book, there's like 300 pages of almost nothing happening. That was how I felt about My Heart is a Chainsaw.
So character development.
I was like,
it's
okay, cool.
No, it's 300 pages of like character development and teaching you about what slashers are and like getting into like setting the stage for, I don't know, I loved it.
I know.
But I mean,
it's a good version of what it's trying to do, which is like more literary slow burn. And like, I think that he was trying to go for like the way that in a slasher movie, there's often that slow buildup and then there's this sort of like orgasmic violence at the end. Yeah. So like, it's not that I think it was like bad. I just did not enjoy that. Like it wasn't enjoyable for me to read. So this, I felt like, okay, cool. We're like just getting rid of all the stuff that like I was not that into in the first one. And we're like diving into just like slash. I didn't like the format at first, but once I switched to audio, I like really got in the groove. I was doing like chores while I was listening to it, so like I was picturing everything, and like I just got in a good flow zone with it, and I just was like, yeah, like for this, between these two versions of this project you've clearly been thinking about for a long time.
Yeah.
I like this version of it better. Like I enjoyed it more, and I didn't feel like I think with My Heart is a Chainsaw, I was like judging myself a lot in it, of like, this is good. I know that like objectively this is like literature, but I'm not having a very good time. It's like I'm not really having fun in this like slasher book. So I think this like made it like washed me clean, I think, in my own reckoning.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I can like something from him. I just need it to not be so like long.
I just felt like, I mean, I went just quickly, like that kind of thing that is like constantly referencing something or being a love letter to a certain type of thing, ideally can also be enjoyed by somebody who isn't that familiar with it, and so they don't get everything, but they get something. So like if you watch Galaxy Quest, even if you've never seen Star Trek, never seen Star Wars, never seen any of those things, you can still enjoy Galaxy Quest just as a comedy film unto itself. And then there's just like added enjoyment when you get how much of it is actually like poking direct fun at specific things. But this is like, if you don't watch slashers,
well, and that's the thing, is up until this last month, I had never seen a slasher, and My Heart is a Chainsaw is what inspired me to try watching them, actually.
Huh.
Oh.
So,
Well, your parents were, I'm betting your parents didn't let you watch that kind of movie.
oh no,
I had no supervision.
yeah.
Just watched
No, so
everything.
I had never seen any of them. So in October, like I did for a reading vlog, or not like a movie vlog thing, but like I watched a few and I loved them, but it was inspired by reading My Heart is a Chainsaw. And that book, Leanna, what you're talking about, does exactly that, where it like gives the introduction, like kind of builds the framework that somebody who has like no knowledge of the genre would need to like understand what's going on and like get into it, which I appreciated.
Yeah.
I had fun with it, but but also it was my second book from him, so I kind of knew what to expect, because The Only Good Indians is also a slow burn literary horror that's like slow, intense violence, slow, intense violence. Like that's how the pacing of it is. So like I kind of went into it like knowing more of what to expect.
Well, I think, I mean, because of the screenplay format, that really takes out any opportunity for there to be that thread in between stuff to like for the non-slasher watcher to like know what's going on there, because there isn't anything else going on. It's just this screenplay thing where it's the barest bones. So if you're already disoriented by the format, because it is very confusing the way it jumps between scenes and viewpoints and whatever. And then if you don't get any of the references, there's just like literally nothing else for you.
Yeah, it is. I didn't think about that, Leanna, but you're totally right. It is very thick with slasher reference.
I mean, like I have seen some slashers. Like I've seen like enough to where like I get what a slasher is, like the kind of like the plot beats that a slasher has. But I don't get. I don't know all the character names. I don't know all the names of the famous killers. Like I know what the format of a slasher is. So if it was all jokes based on that, I might kind of get it, but when it's just like references to like specific like Final Girls or specific moments in those movies,
yeah.
I just feel like, but like a lot of slasher movies are just so ingrained in like the cultural zeitgeist. Like everyone knows Freddy Krueger, and everyone kind of knows what his deal is. He hunts people in dreams, and he has scissor fingers. You know, like
I did not. Know
I did not know either of those things.
Or
Freddy Krueger, the man,
I didn't know that.
with the blades.
And like when you say that, I'm like, I think so. Like, okay, I hear those names.
I don't know what's happening.
But I was just saying, like, I see in pop culture, I see those faces and I hear those names, but I don't know how to match
like
them
how
up.
to merge them. No,
so like when you described it, I was like, oh, I've
seen
seen that dude, but I didn't know he was the one that was called Freddy Krueger.
So can you guys do me a favor? This movie is on YouTube for free, and it's only like 80 minutes. You must watch Sleepaway Camp. It is.
It's on YouTube for free?
Oh, it's on YouTube for free. And it is beyond words. Like, I can't even, like, you're going to be watching it and be like, why did Mara recommend this? And then you're going to get like, to the last shot and you're going to be like,
full dog in that movie. Like, is there full dog on YouTube?
No. Shh, don't spoil.
I just said they dropped dong in it. I didn't say when or what context.
Okay, yeah. I think it is actually. I can't remember, but yeah.
Yeah. See, I mean, similarly, Leanna, because like I said, until like this month, I had never seen any slashers. So I have now seen the original Halloween. I've now seen I Know What You Did Last Summer and Final Girls, but like and Cabin in the Woods. But like I had never that was it. Like I've never seen anything else and like know very little about them, which is why like My Heart as a Chainsaw was so helpful because it does like tell you so much about like the tropes and the formatting and like the meaning behind it. And I was like, this is so interesting. Now I want to like go watch all these movies and read more about this.
Well, you need to watch Scream. It's my favorite. I like
I want to,
whole
yeah.
original trilogy is awesome.
I would like to.
Doing my screamness right now. Little Sidney Prescott for everybody. Yeah. I don't know, like I watched so many slasher movies. I didn't really have a lot of, supervision either, so that might have been a contributing factor. But like I just watched them. I remember the first time I saw Nightmare on Elm Street, which is Freddy Krueger, which is he hunts kids in their dreams. I remember falling asleep during it. And I was like, this is terrible. And I couldn't stop falling asleep. But then I watched it while awake. But I don't know. I've seen so many slasher movies at this point that like, maybe just in my cultural zeitgeist, all these things, like even the ones I haven't seen, like I kind of know what's going on in them.
Mm-hmm.
But I used Galaxy Quest as the example, but honestly, like Scary Movie is amusing to me, even though like I know I probably don't get most of the references, but like I get enough of the references, and the situational comedy itself is funny. So like I can still enjoy Scary Movie, just not on every level like a true fan does. But like, there's something there by itself for you, a viewer, to just enjoy for what it is.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I do wonder if I would have enjoyed Last Final Girl more if I had actually seen more slashers, because that might be part of where I was just like, okay, like.
Yeah, I could see that, because I think, especially, like, I know I keep harping on the audio, but for me, that really was what like helped me.
I did it on audio.
I did it on audio, but
yeah, because it helped me understand the references, I think, more.
Interesting.
Hearing them read out loud, and therefore I could picture like. Yeah, it made sense to me as a slasher better when I was listening to it that way.
I honestly, I always do audiobooks. I am a busy lady. I'm on the go. This audiobook, like I could not do anything else while listening to it. It was like such a difficult audiobook for me. It jumps around and there's so many jump cuts and you have to like keep changing what you're visualizing. And nothing is ever just like in the same space for long enough that I can kind of like do other things. Yeah. It's just like I had to like pay attention and like not do anything else. Luckily it was short, so like it didn't ruin my life, but like audiobook was difficult for me.
But also, I mean, like why didn't you just fucking write it like a screenplay then? Because it's not actually written like a screenplay.
Yeah.
It's written
like watching a movie and you're trying to explain the jump cuts.
That was why I bumped it to a 4, because I was like, this is something I don't think I've ever seen someone try to do before. So like I wanted to give points basically just for like, this is a cool project. Like this idea of like trying to describe what it's like watching a movie, like in the flow of, I mean, I've just never seen someone try to do that before.
Yeah,
that was my 3 stars. I'm like, it's doing something, and I think it set out to do what it wanted to do well. It's just like, do I like what it was doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting project, which is why like 2 stars was like, it was okay. Like I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it.
Now I will say my enjoyment, like I was mentioning earlier, I don't know that I love, like I didn't love this.
You gave it 4 stars.
Well, but that like this is where I get confused. Like
that's quite high for you.
It is high for you.
This is where I get in my head about rating, because it's like I'm trying to thread the needle between like what is the author trying to do and how do I respond to it. And like I have a lot of respect for this book, even if it's not like emotionally fully connecting for me in a way that a book would have to for me to rate it higher. I don't know, but maybe I should go back and give it like 3.
We'll get you to a 1 by the end of this. All right, we got you down to 3. Let's keep going.
Well, I did the same for My Heart is a Chainsaw. I originally gave it 3.5, and then the more I thought about it, I was like, I really didn't love that. And I knocked it down to 3. So maybe I'll go back and knock this down to 3.5.
It's funny. Whereas like for me, like I gave My Heart as a Chainsaw 4, but like I keep thinking I should just give it 5 because it's stuck with me so much, and I ended up buying a copy of it even though I had an e-arc, and like I want to read it again.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's interesting. Just, very different responses to the same
Yeah,
stuff.
it's true.
Now, actually, a question here that I feel like if we're talking about some kind of thriller, which I feel like this falls in that category, like, did you anticipate or know who done it?
I was
Mostly
really
I was so confused. I was like, who is doing whatever at any point?
Yeah.
Not a mystery. Who is literally on the page right now?
I mean, yeah, like I was too confused trying to keep track of stuff to like have any opportunity
Really,
to
it's like,
try
I was
to
like, is
figure
that a
anything
reveal?
out.
What's happening right now?
Yeah.
And it's like, I literally, who done
Yeah.
it? I don't know.
I'm still like, I feel like I'm still a little fuzzy on the details, if I'm being honest. Like,
So it's the girl on the, I don't remember anyone's
It was
name.
the first final girl. Sorry,
Yeah.
guys. Spoiler.
Right.
Well, I mean that too. So, like, I didn't know how seriously to read any of this because TBQH, from what I could understand about what had happened and who was doing what and what their motivations were by the end, I thought they were so stupid, like as motivations for people, that I was just like, and it's dumb. Okay,
And she, like,
I'm done with this.
It was silly because she's a teenage girl who had like a psychopathic streak, but she also looped in a stranger adult, like, reporter and a class clown to just start murdering people, and they were like fine with it. Like, I don't think she had to do a lot of convincing, but that's also part of the book because it's just like
It's part of the genre,
sarcastic,
so I kind of just went with
but-
it. Like,
Yeah.
oftentimes in slashers, it's just like, wait, what? Like, why? Why
and
are you
I think
this elaborate?
I think this is what I didn't like about it, because like what I was hoping for based on what I'd liked about stuff I'd read from him before was like this more deep character development, and you do not get that here. And I was just
Well,
like,
also
they're
then the like big
caricatures. Like,
Yeah.
you had the slutty best friend who literally has a purse full
Yeah.
of condoms. Like,
Well, then the big reveal is that she's actually a virgin, which when I super noped out of that, when I was like, so you're not even subverting that because she is a virgin. Why is this the reveal? I hate everything right now.
Leanna, I think you would like My Heart as a Chainsaw a lot better.
it's like you need
Like,
a hymen to
because
kill a
Well, I
serial
can't
killer,
like it
apparently.
worse.
Yeah. Because like a lot of the stuff that you're finding irritating, like I think because he wrote this a lot earlier, and I think
This
he
is
did
like one of
I
his first books,
Yeah,
right?
this is one of his first books. So like I think a lot of the stuff you're talking about, like specifically, he did much better and like got to like figured out for that book. I don't know. Also, somebody asked if Heart is a Chainsaw is in a screenplay format. No, it is not. It's like a novel that has
I don't think anything else he does is in this format.
no. That one does have like these Slasher 101 papers that she wrote for her high
Yeah,
school
there's, like,
English classes.
Essays and interstitials.
Like essays.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Which were probably my favorite part of that book, were those interstitials.
Yeah, those were cool.
I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm probably out of all of us, the resident slasher expert. Not that I'm an expert, I've just seen them all. So, like, going into it, I know exactly what they're poking fun at. So it's just kind of the self-aware sarcasm
Mhm.
worked. I think I got the references, the caricatures of the characters, like the slutty best friend has a purse full of condoms. Like, of course, it's like they just took it and like, oh yeah, hold my beer. Like, I'll give you a slutty best friend, and like all of those things, and just keep piling upon each other to the point where it's just goofy. And I felt like I was watching characters who lived inside of a slasher movie, and our main character was aware that she lived in a slasher movie because all the time she's like, no, this is the lull between kills.
Yeah.
And then when she's talking to the police officer, she's like, wait, you're doing your job too well. You're not supposed to listen to us until it's too late. And he's like, no, like, I'm doing my job. And she's like, you obviously don't understand how this works. So
Well, it's almost
yeah.
like I unironically love the Scooby-Doo live action movie. Like, I just think it's fun and silly. Like, I get into things like that's a tone that I just can get on board with.
I like that
Of like
movie.
self-aware silliness. That's often a thing that will work for me.
Mhm.
And that's what I felt like this.
I mean,
book.
I would say same, except again, usually like you don't have to be in on something to get it. You know? Like
Yeah.
Riverdale, one of my favorite shows that is everyone else's favorite to shit on, is constantly, literally at all times, referencing something, paying homage to something, doing like a fourth wall break. It is constantly doing that. And I know that I maybe catch 30% of it. But I'm not like watching it sitting there being befuddled and confused and feeling like I'm not in on it. I'm just like the stuff I do get, I'm like, well, I got that and that was really interesting, but also I'm generally into it and I'm generally into its vibe and it has its own story. So I'm not sitting there going, well, like I literally don't know what's happening because you're only speaking in references. And if you don't get the reference, you don't know what's going on. Like it's not like that, but it's constantly doing that if you're into that. And it's very self-awarely kitschy about things and over the top about things and melodramatic. I mean, there's one of the Halloween episodes, they literally basically reenact Scream for like parts of it where like she's dressed like her for Halloween, but then like someone is ringing her house and she's like, this isn't funny. And like it starts with her actually resembling Scream. And I haven't actually seen Scream, but I know enough to know that it's doing that. And but you can enjoy the episode even if you've never seen Scream.
And you know that Jughead's dad is the boyfriend in that original
Yeah,
Scream, right?
I do know that.
I'm assuming that's why they did that.
That's funny. Well,
Also the
I do think
killer.
it says
Sorry.
something, right? That like Mara and Amanda, I feel like you guys have seen more slashers than me and Leanna and liked the book better than us. And like I think that does probably kind of speak to how much of it is like drawing on
Yeah.
assuming
feel
you
like
know the references.
It's a bit preaching to the choir. It's like this is for people who like slasher movies.
Yeah.
But only for people who like slasher movies.
Kind of, yeah. It's like it has a target audience.
Which is fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's not like a bad thing. It's just like who it's going to work for.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a bad thing from like a marketing and money making standpoint because if you have no
Well,
part of it that's mass appeal, then you're gonna have less sales.
Which is why this was from like a little indie press early in his career, and it hasn't been one of his big bestsellers. I mean, like, it's, you know.
I mean, it's a very specific flavor, and it's not a flavor everybody's gonna like.
Yeah.
Like
But I think-
evidenced by this live show.
Well, and I will say, I don't know that I really am very enticed to read more from him at this point. Like, I've read 2 things this year, and I'm like, I think I'm good. But like, I have a lot of respect for him as an artist from those 2 books I read. Like, just because it's not necessarily for me for the most part, doesn't mean like I think I respect him as a person with a point of view and like ideas. Yeah. Which is frankly more than I can say for a lot of authors I read. Like he's at least like going for something in a way that many authors are not. So
I think I would want to read something else because I wanted to read My Heart is a Chainsaw too. Because that one is just like, hey, you like slashers? I wrote an actual book instead of, jump cuts.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like even his newer stuff is a particular flavor of writing, and like I love it, but I totally understand why not everybody would, because it's not like, I mean, like it's not what is the word that I want? It's not like soapy horror. You know what I mean? Like it's very literary. It's very about character. Like he's doing a lot of interesting things, and I enjoy that. But like I get why that would not be what everybody's looking for. So I'll keep reading more from him. But
so you know how I do this thing where I reference Joe Abercrombie every single time I speak.
What?
You interviewed him though. Everybody, do you guys? If for anyone who didn't know, Leanna interviewed Joe Abercrombie.
Yes,
but I was actually bringing this up in order to not talk about Joe Abercrombie because, like, for the last few weeks, instead I just keep bringing up Dune, and I'm like, why do I feel like everyone's gonna think I'm a mega fan of Dune because I keep bringing up Dune in literally every conversation. It's the new Abercrombie, but anyway, I bring up Dune because his choice to write in this. Like what the camera does and the jump cut and the like fades into a different cut, which is so disorienting. And you're like, that works in film only. there's a what is this? It's very similar to David Lynch's choice to do voiceovers for character thoughts in the Dune film, where you're like, that you do in a book, but we don't do that in a movie. And here I'm like, we do that in a movie, we don't do that in a book for very good reason. Because you end up with Dune, the movie, which is terrible.
He like wrote a slasher movie, essentially, which is like, it's a very visual medium. So I'm not like, I appreciate the concept. I don't know if it was necessarily works in real time. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna drink now.
I am excited about this idea that My Heart is a Chainsaw is getting a sequel. I would be down to read more.
I see that.
Cool. Shoot, that's exciting.
Interesting.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You know what? That is a fair point.
He did give us a space speedo.
Space
I mean, he is the best part of that film, no doubt.
Who do you think they're gonna cast as Fade Rafa for part 2?
Not Sting.
Not Sting. It should be just Sting again. I don't care. He's 60. He's Sting.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I mean, big idea, a big swing for some people.
Still gonna miss.
Many will think it's a myth.
I feel like maybe he hit, but it was a foul ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like he made
Sorry, too much sports.
I do appreciate one thing about it.
Words.
I appreciate brevity.
I do too. That's like one of the reasons I liked it better than My Heart is a Chainsaw. Is I think this for me worked better as a shorter thing.
Lil Nas X. Oh, that would be interesting.
That would be interesting.
That would be very interesting.
I would want him to see him just chew the scenery.
I mean, that would be interesting to see.
It's extremely unlikely, but
it is probably unlikely, but that would be. Yeah. I could see that.
I think someone asked in our group chat if anyone else was drinking during the video. Is anyone else drinking, or am I alone?
I am not. I'm like getting over a cold, so I have water.
I'm getting over hangover, so
yeah.
I'm having water.
My diseased body is not enjoying alcohol these days, so.
Oh, well, just drink by myself.
Sorry.
Figured I'd bring it up.
Yeah.
I wasn't planning to drink last night. It just happened because of
That's
peer
usually
pressure.
how it happens. Yeah.
Peer pressure.
It's just yeah, because I feel like we've said everything that we needed to say about the book. Like, what else is there left to say?
Oh,
so
no.
I'm like, I think this is the part of the live show where we all go like rogue. You're bandolier.
Oh no.
Because each bullet is a keystone, so if you lose one,
that is a terrible design.
It is a terrible design. Watch me put it back together.
Like
that's why I've been like so delicately touching it this whole time.
Maybe
like, don't fall apart, don't fall apart, don't fall apart.
Maybe this was someone's idea of gun control.
Speaking of gun control. It's not a wine gun, but kind of.
It's like an aerator? Or...
This is a Coravin. Essentially, I'll take it off so you guys can see it. It is a device that has a long, skinny needle. And you put it on top of a wine bottle that still has its cork in it. And you push it through the cork. And then you can get up to the wine inside the bottle without having to uncork the bottle.
Oh.
And it has like argon gas.
So you know how I bring up Dune now at all times? That just looks like a wine gom jabbar.
Wine gom jabbar.
I have not seen Dune, so I don't know what that means. It sounded like it was good for me.
It's the like pain and fear test they give Paul, where they put his hand in a box and he feels pain and he can't move because there's a needle at his throat, and he's supposed to control his response and not like move if despite the pain. And it's called the gom jabbar.
Well, that seems very deeply unpleasant.
Fear is the mind killer, Mara.
It's a little death, which is actually an orgasm, but it's a little death in Dune. Sorry.
There you go.
French.
No. So basically, Amanda is fancier than we are, but we already knew that.
Well, I'm a sommelier now, so I have to do wine stuff. So November 7th, Sunday, November 7th, 12 p.m. Pacific time. Nice. It's gonna be a good one.
Nice.
But yeah, for my more expensive bottles, I don't want to like open it and have to guzzle it within 3 days, so I use my Coravin.
Nice. Waste
Smart.
not, want not.
There you go.
We don't have this problem with whiskey because it comes with a cork that you can recork.
You can recork
Yeah.
it. It's just like too much air oxidizes it, so it doesn't
Yeah, it
taste
doesn't taste good.
Whiskey's so finicky.
good.
I miss my days of carefree drinking, but
Mm.
yeah, not in the cards for me in the last few years.
Thought you were gonna drink that candle for a second, and I was like,
Like,
"Is that
Not
what
the
we're
cards
into
for
now?"
me.
It's just wax now for me.
Nope, just some pamplemousse liqueur. That's it.
That's it.
Oh,
So
next month we're on my channel. We're gonna watch
Yeah.
or read Rick Riordan.
yeah.
Is it Riordan or Riordan? I never know.
I get corrected all the time, and I'm not really sure, but I've been saying Riordan recently and gotten fewer corrections. So
Yeah, I don't know. It's Riordan or Reardon, whatever his
I
name
say
is.
Riordan.
Uncle Rick.
I don't know.
Uncle Rick, yeah,
We're reading this one, everybody. I
Yeah.
had it out.
the Sword of Summer. I'm excited.
Getting some middle school jams.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be good.
some middle
fun.
grade good times.
I got my
Looking
fingers
forward
crossed
to
we all like
Hannah
this one.
shitting on it. It'll be good.
I think she's gonna like it. Uncle Rick is
I do
great.
too. I'm hoping she will. It's Nordic, and
I doubt
You
I
know.
will hate it. Like I
That's
don't know
what
if
I
I'll
think.
love it, but I doubt that it'll be like a I hate this 1-star situation. I feel like it's very unlikely.
Well, it's a middle grade book, and it's trying to be a middle grade book. So I feel like you could get into it because you know what you're getting into. You're expecting a middle grade, you're going to get that.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I mean, I'm a Percy Jackson kind of girl, so I wanted to try the other series. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, that could be fun to try.
Well, and Magnus Chase is Annabeth's cousin, so we get some Annabeth time.
All of their family are just fucking gods.
You mean that they're fucking gods or they're
I mean,
fucking
yes,
all
all their
gods?
family are
They're fucking gods.
This is part of what's amazing.
They're
about
fucking
the Uncle
gods.
Rick verse is that it presupposes a world with like intense polygamy or like intense polyamory. Like everybody, all of these kids just accept like, yeah, like we all have the same dad, and there's like, you know,
It is what it is. Yeah.
represented
Yeah.
at this camp. I'm
Yep.
like, I kind of love the radical sexual politics that are implied by this universe. They all are just like, yeah, like dad gets around, and I have
I-
like
I
500
did not
siblings right
do-
now.
I didn't do a live with a guy today.
But you did.
so-
Oh, is
It
that
looked like a
Alan?
live Alexandria.
Oh,
Library
Alan?
of Alan. Yeah.
Yeah, Alan. His channel is linked in the description of that video, so you can find him there.
He's great.
Mhm.
I don't think so. I think they're not connected universes. They're just like loosely connected from a character.
They are connected universes, but like you won't get spoilers from Percy Jackson.
That's
Like
good.
you're not going to get spoiled for Percy Jackson from reading this. So
Yeah, but you don't have to have read Percy Jackson to understand the world building. It's not a spin-off.
No.
It's just like another story within the same universe.
Yeah, I think now in retrospect, 'cause I'm in the middle of Heroes of Olympus, I do think that there's like inadvertently telling you some things that are happening in Heroes of Olympus, but I don't think you'll know that until you go back and read Heroes of Olympus. Does that make sense? Like,
Mhm.
I
And
So
just
the answer is no. You
realized
don't have to read Percy Jackson.
I thought that you had a black eye. I just realized that those were eyelashes that fell.
eyelash. Well, it's like a black eye here, and then the eyelash like fell off is the idea.
Yeah, I just yep.
Like someone punched me.
I have not been drinking, but
Yeah, that was the idea.
That's funny.
So
Yeah, I've only read the first 2 Percy Jackson books so far, but But I've read like
excuse
other
me,
Wheel of
Urza. I have never in my life spoken about Wheel of Time. Get out of here.
oh, Wheel of Time is
That was Game of Thrones, right?
It was indeed. How dare you confuse the two? How dare you?
oh yeah.
Switch out a G for the W and you got it, you know.
Has anyone
I've-
read the Riley Sager or Sager one?
I haven't
And,
yet.
I've read the Final Girl support group.
I read Final
which-
Girls by Riley Sager this month as well.
I want to read it.
vastly prefer this to either the Stephen Graham Jones ones, and to anything I've read from Riley Sager, though I've not read Final Girls. So,
Yeah.
this
I was
is
spilling
really
tea about
liked
Final
Southern
Girl
Books
support
Club.
group in one of my wine chats.
Because you didn't
Essentially,
like
the publisher emailed me and they're like,
Oh.
"Hey, do you want the book?" And I say, "Yeah." And then they ghosted me, and I never got it.
That
Oh,
happens.
I know it
occasionally,
happens often, but I was like, "You asked me.
Yeah.
I didn't ask you."
Yeah. Yep.
But I did read
Before.
Final Girls by Riley Sager as well.
I liked Final Girls by Riley Sager.
I tried to read Final Girls from Riley Sager, and I just put it down. So,
Well, I hated my first Riley Sager book that I read this month. So,
what did
Which
you
one
read?
was it?
Home Before Dark.
Oh, see, I like that one. I thought
I
it was
like that
That's-
one too, but it's like trope
Here's the
candy
thing.
for me.
It's just fun. I
wish I was reading the ghost story and not the story that Home Before Dark was. I wanted to read the ghost story that the dad wrote. I was like, why are you reading that book? That sounds great.
That is always one of the risks when you have like dual timelines, which is why I don't always love a dual timeline, is that if people like one of the timelines better, then you're making them impatient for the timeline you're making them sit through.
Yeah.
So, but I liked Home Before Dark.
That
was my favorite of the things I've read from him.
So
Yeah,
I
I
guess
think
I won't be reading any other Riley Sager.
Well, you know what though? People are very split on it. Like I love Home Before Dark, but a lot of people don't. Like
It was
like
very, I think
it's
a
an
lot of his books
unpopular
are pretty
one.
polarizing. Like I think for
Yeah.
a lot of people, they either like them or don't.
Yeah. The Last Time I Lied is probably my second favorite thing from him. I think that one's really good.
Yep.
I like that one pretty well. I think I gave that 3.5.
I think Final Girls, like the last third of the book was pretty good.
Yeah.
The first 2/3 were slow and aimless.
Yeah,
And it feels like almost, was that his debut?
I think so. I think that was his first one.
It feels like a debut because it's very, like the standard plot arc for a thriller, like how to pick the killer.
Yeah.
It's the second person, guys. I'm just saying. I feel like he did do a lot to obfuscate that. Like, there's a lot of red herrings, a lot of things like it wasn't this person, but like if you go back and think about who's the second person you met, and you're like, who was that person?
It was a book that I like unintentionally DNF'd. Like I started it and I just kind of forgot about it and never came back. So if that's
I mean, I think I liked the ending pretty well. I didn't like Lock Every Door, but a lot of people do. Like that was my least favorite thing I've read from him so far.
Yeah,
well, Survive the Night seemed like it was.
I haven't read that one. Yeah, I haven't read that one yet, but I've heard not the best things.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I don't know. I've read two,
and
they're both kind of mediocre for me. So I was like, I don't think this is going to be my thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't read that one, but I do recommend Final Girl Support Group. It was also fun. Like it's got a fun vibe to it. A lot of people were like, "Oh, it's so improbable," but again, I'm like, it's fun. A slasher-based story.
Well, is it similar to? I mean, obviously the story would be entirely different, but like the vibe of like Southern Book Club's Guide.
Yeah, it's a similar vibe, and it's the same like very. In my opinion, well-drawn female characters who are flawed in ways that I thought were believable and interesting. And it's basically looking at like how if you were the final girl from a slasher, like different people would respond to that differently for the rest of their lives. So like our point of view character is like hyper vigilant and is extremely paranoid and doesn't trust anyone. Like another one is just wants to pretend it never happened and like tries to live this like cookie cutter perfect life. Like
that sounds much more up my alley.
Yeah, I think at the end of that,
like think through like, okay, yeah, like I think depending on your personality and kind of life circumstances, you would handle the trauma of somebody viciously trying to murder you multiple times because they all had sequels. It would impact you differently depending.
Right.
Yeah. So it was good.
It sounds fun. I think I'm probably going to be reading it for a video thing before the end of the year. I'm going to try it.
I think you'll like it. I think it's fun.
I've enjoyed what else I've read from him so far. So
I need to read more from him. I've enjoyed him so far.
yeah.
Well, you guys haven't seen a lot of slashers, but does anyone have a favorite from the ones you have seen?
I got such a kick out of I Know What You Did Last Summer. Like
It's so good.
oh my gosh. Like
Did you
the
see
90
watch two?
Yeah, I haven't seen the
I
second one. But
really
like,
know what you did last summer.
Now
oh,
they're
like,
in like a tropical island.
I'll never
but like
forget.
the
real bad.
90s teen nostalgia is real in that. And I'm like, oh my God.
If you like that, you will like Scream because it's the
Okay.
same writer.
Okay.
And Scream is better.
Okay. I do want to see Scream. But yeah, I like that one made me laugh, honestly. Like I didn't find it scary, but I think if I'd seen it as a teenager, I would have, if that makes sense.
But it's one of the worst
That's
character deaths, like Sarah Michelle Gellar, because she's literally 10 feet away from like people saving her.
Oh, I know that. Yeah.
That it still gets me to this day.
I remember just being viscerally grossed out as a youth by the gross like fishingness of the final scene with the guy. Just like the idea that everything that's happening, it's like this pervasive smell of dead fish. Just really as a kid, like it was like, oh, that's so gross.
That's so funny. I was just like, they're so dumb. Like, clearly he's still alive, and like we're just leaving him in the water. Like, what?
Ryan Phillippe is a real dick in that movie. Like,
he is horrible.
Grade A.
He's only in that movie.
I mean, no, I was gonna say he's a dick in quite a few movies.
Yeah,
he's good at
thing is,
that. I feel like this is one of his better versions of fishness.
I thought it was like kind of hilarious, the scene where Sarah Michelle Gellar wakes up with her hair cut and the
oh yeah, that was oh man. Yeah.
So funny.
There's something to the like quiet desperation of like their ruined lives that makes me sad.
That's why they need a support group.
They do.
It's true.
Yeah, that was fun.
And I'm assuming, Leanna, yours is Ready or Not.
Yeah, I don't even know if that counts as a slasher, but
I don't think it is a slasher.
I feel like it has a lot of the.
There's a lot of people exploding.
I mean, just like in the sense of like the enjoyment you get out of watching somebody who's being pursued, constantly running away from someone who's trying to kill them. Like in that sense, it's a slasher, and like
it's in the same.
It's slasher adjacent.
Yeah,
it's kind of like how hide and seek versus sardines is the same game but in reverse. So like Ready or Not is like the sardines of slashers.
The guys who directed Ready or Not are directed the I think are directing the 5th Scream. So I'm excited. I want to see Ready or Not just to like.
You should just see it because it's really good.
Well, I've heard it's really good anyway, but just to get a sense of their sensibilities.
There are so many things I have not seen. So I'm making a list, and I think I want to like.
Are you checking it twice?
No, we're not doing Christmas yet.
Stores are, which is deep.
I mean, I have been. I've been reading holiday romances for review this month.
I read The Naughty List this month, which is a
literally not even Halloween yet
novella, which was interesting.
Wait, did you say a Santa BDSM novel?
Novella.
I cannot do the sexy Santa thing. Like it's
But is Santa a top or a bottom? So he could go either way.
Yeah, he's a little more dom.
I'm unsurprised.
It's not BDSM. It's like light BDSM. Yeah. It's like Wine Mom.
He does reward good girls, so I can see him being a dom.
I don't know. I just I can't do it. The only exception is Adriana Herrera did a novella that was FF with like a female Santa, but she inherited the title and she's like young. And I was like, okay, I can get behind that.
Yeah,
but like
it's the same thing. This is the guy who like it's a family. Like he's one of many Santas that there has been.
Because I once encountered and DNF'd something where that was like like Santa you would expect from like Santa, and I was like, nope,
No,
I
this is
can't.
more like Zaddy Santa,
Okay,
Hmm.
like salt and pepper. He goes by Nikolai.
sure he does.
Don't ruin Nikolai for me.
It was interesting. I hadn't I mean it was exactly what it was presented to me as, which was sexy Santa, and I was like, okay, that's what this was.
That's on you at this point. You knew what it was.
Yeah.
That's what you got.
That's what yeah. So if you're
So
looking for that, it was a good version of it.
Ho ho ho.
Well, in my own slashery opinion, I mean, the first Nightmare on Elm Street is cinematographically, I don't know, the cinematography in that is fantastic. So I recommend. It has a great final girl. However, Night on Elm Street 3 is redonkulous and my fave. A lot of people like 3 better because 2 is strangely like not even like trying to pretend it's not homoerotic. It's like really quite gay in the 80s and everyone made a big deal out of it because it's like it's a final boy instead of a final girl. So I'm like, oh, okay. And but Scream 3 is not Scream 3. Oh my gosh. Nightmare on Elm Street 3 is like Dream Warriors. And there's like a group of kids and they're like in an insane asylum and then they all team up to take down Freddy. And Nancy comes back. She was the final girl from 1.
Oh.
It's a good
I've
one.
only
It's
seen
redonkulous.
I've not
Patricia
seen-
Arquette's in it.
Oh. Yeah. I've only seen 1. I've not seen any of the other ones. For
I
Nightmare.
mean, Friday the 13th has Kevin Bacon in it. He gets like through the neck. It's a lot.
See, if I want that, I just watch Sweeney Todd.
Well, it's like a spear through the neck.
I mean, at one point, Sweeney Todd stabs the neck with his razor. I feel like it's same enjoyment.
It's the OG slasher.
Yeah, but you know,
It really is.
this Kevin Bacon also just got laid. Like he doesn't have pants on. He's just laying down, relaxing, trying to smoke a joint through the neck.
Rude.
It's an iconic kill. I mean, Nightmare on Elm Street 1 has Johnny Depp getting like just exploded.
Yeah.
But yeah, those
Well,
ones
Nightmare-
are
I
good.
think the first Nightmare on Elm Street is also like an I've been thinking about this because like I have a commentary video coming out tomorrow about like serial killers and why we love them as a culture. But like
Why you love them.
well, why
That's
I love
what
them.
your thumbnail says. Are you
It's
saying
true.
it's not accurate?
It is why I love them, but then I make guesses as to why we love them. But the rise of the serial killer story, like its full popularity coincides with rises in child abuse stories because like we were becoming aware as a culture of both of those phenomenons in a new way, like statistically. So I do think Nightmare on Elm Street is interesting from like the pedophile angle bit and like the fact that that was the boogeyman for that era, because I think like there was an awareness of like stranger danger and this idea of, you know, people.
They don't play much into that until the remake, the one they did like 2009. That one they're like, yeah, he's like a major pedophile. Like that one they like make it like clear.
Yeah.
The other ones is just kind of
Like
said,
that's the backstory.
but they don't give a lot of evidence to it in like the original.
Yeah.
Basically, he diddled children, and then the parents all like put him in a little building and set it on fire. And so now he comes back as a dream demon to hunt their children in dreams.
Yeah.
As one does.
That's why it's all burnt.
The lesson.
Slashers are crazy, you know.
I mean,
Wait, but how does that explain the scissors fingers? Who did this to him?
He was like a groundskeeper, and they were like hedge cutters, and he would wear them. So
it
This
doesn't
makes
have to
about
be.
as much
that's the
sense
part
as
that's
Edward
too weird.
Scissorhands. It makes
Not the
just as
dream
much
demon
sense as
part.
Edward Scissorhands.
I mean, yeah. I think the thing that's interesting to me about slashers is that they're like sexist and feminist at the same time in different ways, and like I find that dichotomy really fascinating.
Yeah. It is a final girl. You know, the girl gets a kick butt.
Well, that's the thing, right?
Story.
But it's like the final girl is like virginal, typically.
Nice
And
we
like,
already heard what you had to say about Hyman.
Yeah, but like a lot of it, right? Like a lot of it, and the girls who die are like more in touch with their sexuality or whatever. So like a lot of it on that hand is sort of like controlling young women and their sexuality, but at the same time, you have like this final girl who sort of like discovers her inner strength and takes down the bad guy and stuff. So it's just interesting that you have kind of like both.
You would like this, Stephanie. It's about. I just read this for that video.
Interesting.
It's good.
That kind of goes like I can see why you like Cabin in the Woods, because that one really plays with that trope quite a bit.
Yeah, it did. Which I
like, let's make her dumber. She's too smart.
Right.
With the gas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Well, anyway, so we're kind of coming up on that hour mark. Does anyone have any fun new topics to close out on?
I had fun getting dressed for Halloween this year.
Me too.
This is
yay.
Fun. Yeah.
I ordered blood. I ordered blood from Amazon like on Monday, and it kept saying it was going to arrive, and it didn't arrive. And I'm like, it's not gonna. They lost my blood. They lost my blood. Okay. So I went to the Halloween store today and bought blood, and I'm pretty sure my face is now dyed red because this stuff does not come off.
This is not coming off the finger I used to apply.
Yeah, like my hand has a dot on it. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I'm hoping that it comes off with some alcohol.
Yeah.
But we'll find out.
That's the only alcohol you're having tonight.
Yeah. Some purple alcohol. They actually, like, it's hard to tell on screen, but these
is Eowyn a final girl?
I don't know who Eowyn is.
I know who Eowyn is.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's the right genre,
so.
No, but that's
kind
like
of?
that's interesting, right? I mean, because the fact that she, she's sort of this like virginal young woman who ends up being the one who can take down.
I think she's just cool. I don't know if
she was the original final girl
because there's a lot of survivors in that fight.
But no one survives the Nazgul, like a one-on-one fight with the Nazgul. Only Eowyn.
That is true.
Because she's not a man.
She ain't no man.
I don't know. Fine. Sure. Why not?
The original final
girl. She could be a final girl.
Pluto is a planet. Eowyn's a final girl. Everybody can be whatever.
We got bigger problems in life. Like, why am I gatekeeping this? Yeah, she could be final girl. Whatever.
Oh, Penelope says, didn't you know you're supposed to use an Elmer's glue stick on the area before you put on fake blood so it doesn't stain your skin?
That is interesting. I've never heard that before.
You didn't put that on anywhere on the little blood tube.
Good to know.
My blood tube had 0 instructions whatsoever. So.
Yeah,
they're just like, here's a tube of red, stick it on you.
I mean, I've never really used fake blood before, so I just kind of And then I found a YouTube tutorial for like using latex and toilet paper basically to make fake.
I mean, luckily it's Saturday, so we have Sunday to scrub ourselves raw.
Exactly.
It'll be fine.
I took a shower right before I put this on my face too. So now I'm just like,
I'm definitely I'm not going
to take a shower until tonight, so that way I can just.
I took a shower before this. I'm like, I don't plan my life. I'm just chaos all the time. They're like, oh well, this is just how I live my life now. They call me Bloody Face.
Put it on your work ID.
So next month, like we said, we're going to be doing Rick Riordan. I say Riordan.
Go for it.
Rick Riordan, Magnus Chase, and the Sword of Summer. So we're getting into something very lighthearted. We're going to go over on Mara's channel. Do we know what day we are going to be doing that?
Oh, yeah.
Because we were debating a little bit.
Didn't we decide? I put it on my calendar, so I hope it's right.
I think the consensus was emerging around the 3rd Saturday.
So the 20th?
Which was the 20th.
So the weekend before Thanksgiving.
Yes. It is American Thanksgiving on what would normally be our posting day, or it's the Saturday afterwards, and
Yeah, that's
so
kind
we're
of
gonna do it
it's a
before.
hard weekend.
And it's a long book, but it's middle grade, so hopefully it's not too.
Yeah, the words are very large on the pages. So we're thinking November 20th, back to our usual time, which is 11 a.m. Pacific.
But a different day, so we're still changing things.
Yeah.
We're gonna get the time right, but the day wrong.
And then we probably will also have a different time for the December one, because that's
December.
also like
That
Christmas.
falls around Christmas, so
Yeah.
we'll probably pick a
We'll
different
figure
day.
it out.
It'd probably be the third weekend of December too.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll
I don't
see.
know. I guess we got to look at like.
Oh yeah, because I've got family in town that weekend, so
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll let you guys know as soon as we know.
we'll know when we know.
But we're thinking
Yeah.
the 20th of November over on Bara's channel.
Yeah, and then I
That's our
guess we
usual
need to
time.
like figure out details for 2022 plans.
Yeah, I think we decided it was going to move to quarterly. Sorry, you guys are getting the inside scoop because you're at the live show.
Yep.
So we're thinking it might be a quarterly event.
Yes.
So the
I
next
think
one
we'll
would be.
likely still
did
be
we-
one in, I thought
did-
we were talking about still doing it in January, and then maybe-
January, like it's going to be the first part of each quarter, not the last
Okay.
part.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So like
Because then we
January.
get a Halloween show. Because then we get an
Right.
October show that way.
Yeah, we like doing
We
this.
like our Halloween.
We
show.
like the Halloween show. We're
Oh,
keeping these.
the December book is Witchmark by C.L. Polk.
Oh yeah, I've got it
Yeah.
somewhere.
It's like
I don't have
a
that yet.
historical fantasy romance.
And the
you
January
go.
book is Guns.
And
of
it was
Dawn.
much shorter than I thought it was going to be when it
Yeah,
arrived. So
it's not very long.
that was exciting.
I have to get it still.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got time.
Yeah. Yes. And says don't discontinue the Halloween show in 2022.
Yes.
We're
No,
not.
we won't.
We
We
have our
won't.
We
priorities.
purposely set it up so we'd still have an October show.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah,
but
so we'll
I'm
do-
confused. How did we calculate that? Because the beginning of the fourth quarter is not Halloween.
January,
It's that month.
April,
10, 11,
July.
12. So 10 for October. We're still
October.
doing it at the end of the month,
Yeah.
which will be
Till
the
the end of the
Halloween
month,
show.
but the
It's
first
fine.
month of the quarter.
January,
January,
April,
April,
July.
July, and
and
October.
then October. That's every 3 months.
Okay.
Just go with it.
It works. It'll be fine.
So it's the first month of each quarter instead of the last month of each quarter. And there's definitely gonna be a Halloween show. We like this too much. This is our second annual one, and it's fun.
It is fun.
It gives me an excuse to dress up.
Yeah.
But it won't be on my channel next year. I got the Halloween show twice, and I feel spoiled.
Oh,
It'll be on Bethany's channel next year.
Whoop, whoop.
We'll figure out like details and probably post them on Instagram once we like.
Yeah.
nail
I
them.
mean,
It's literally a
this is
year
far-
away.
This is a year away. We got some time.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for coming to the live show.
Yeah.
I feel like we thoroughly discussed this book as amongst other slashery delights
Yeah.
and wine and all kinds of stuff. Coming up soon, since it's my channel, I'm going to plug my own stuff. November 7th, my next wine chat. If you guys like wine and you like books, it's going to be November 7th, which is a Sunday at 12 p.m. Pacific. And we're talking about Pinot Noir. So it's going to be wine.
I just
books.
immediately thought of Kimmy Schmidt.
Pinot Noir, Avatar.
Pinot Noir.
Anyway, so thank you, ladies, for joining.
Yeah.
And any final words before we sign off for the
Final
Halloween
words
show?
about final girls.
Happy
Yes.
Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Yay! All right, bye, everybody. Thank you for
Bye.
coming.
Bye.